if I got to abide by what you say just to win, to live, to see another day and take you to court, we can do that. So what we do is we teach them the laws. We teach them how to abide, how to obey. You know what I mean? Then if something goes south, you know what I mean, we also know how to deal with that. So.
Now, you said a number of your people in the Civilians Against Violence are ex-gang members, people that had trials and tribulation.
Absolutely.
How important was to have people like that in the group?
Because they experienced.
Because they experienced?
Yeah, they experienced. And then they know, they also, there's a difference from empathy and sympathy. You know what I mean? To empathize with someone is because I understand and I've been there. You know what I mean? But I don't give you an excuse to stay where you at. To sympathize means I continue to allow you to stay into the place that you is, and I feel sorry for you. So those who have been changed and know how to empathize in the streets and move a certain way, you know what I mean? Them the ones that qualify for this.
Yeah. Now, is any of it City of Life, Civilians Against Violence? Is it not for profit? Any of it, or it's just we doing this?
We just what we do.
It's 501c3 type of non-for-profit.
Civilians Against Violence is a 501.
Civilians Against Violence.
City of Life don't have a 501 because you're not going to dictate what I say.
Right.
You know what I mean?
You got any events coming up?
Matter of fact, we got a community baby shower which we just did. One of the ones in the audience, that's one of our leading ladies that do what they do. So, yeah.
Okay, you call it a city? What do you call it? Baby shower?
We do a community baby shower.
Hold on, wait. What does that mean? Community. I'm trying to fathom that. Community baby shower. Help me fathom that.
Well, the last one we had, we picked two young ladies who was in a homeless shelter, and we
who's pregnant.
Was pregnant. So we gave them a baby shower, and we gave them free things.
Yeah. Wow. So how is that organized? Like the young ladies in the organization go and say we're gonna go do this, and they visit the shelters.
Well, they go to the shelters, they feed, they clothe, they do community events. You know what I mean? Them ladies are structured, so they go out and handle them things. They tell me what's going on. I just follow the lead.
So you got men and women in the group.
Absolutely.
Civilians Against Violence, and you do these events and you do all kind of things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real right there. That's real. And you say you got another one coming up, another event coming up?
Yeah, we got another community baby shower coming up. Which date is that?
That'll be the last week of May.
The last week of May.
Last week of May?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. Okay, so do you mix the two together? City of Life and Civilian?
Well, City of Life, I feel everything that I do is in the life, is in the city of my life. So Civilians Against Violence, you know what I mean? Growth and development, whatever it is part of City of Life.
Yeah, see, I wanted to talk about that because you say you're still with the platform. It was Gangsta's Disciple, but now it's all about, you take that GD and you flip it and grow it to growth and development. Talk about that.
Well, I don't flip it. I become it.
You become it. Okay.
I become what I talk. You know what I mean? So, with growth and development is constantly growing, getting yourself in position where you can develop. You know what I mean? It's a saying that we say we live by these 5 Ps. And with that, you know what I mean, it gives us the opportunity to become a productive people. You know what I mean? With integrity, that we are with the kind of people we are. So, growth and development is not it's not a game. It's a lifestyle.
Say, growth and development is not a gang, it's a lifestyle.
Oh yeah, it's not a gang. We don't gang bang. Our laws, yeah, yeah, our laws.
Not a game, and it's not a gang.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, if I was like 607 Unc, I'd say stop playing with me. You know what I mean? Don't play with me.
607 Unc.
607 Unc, he say don't play with me.
Oh, 607 Unc?
Don't play
with me. That's on 607 Unc. Yeah. Don't play with me.
Yeah, so, okay. But no, growth and development, it's a lifestyle. You know what I mean? And in our laws and policies, we, it's against for it to do illegal things, to not just do illegal things. It's against us to do drugs. It's against us to do any of them things. So, my duty is, like I tell the guys or I tell the ladies, it's like this here, the laws was put here for those who don't obey them. They wasn't put here to make us do nothing, because we willingly stand on these things. So if you part of this and you growth development, you got to be in the community. You got to do what's right. You got to live right. You know what I mean? It's not a...
Are you eager to pull a young cat coattail to that?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I'm out here with it, OG. Old school. No, you know how they do now. I'm with this school. You don't know nothing about this school.
Absolutely.
Hey, school, you don't know nothing about this.
But the good thing about it, because you do run into stuff like that, but the same one who say, well, we don't know about, ask your daddy. Or
Yeah.
ask your grandfather. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, it's more of a and if you want, you asked about it, so I'm gonna kind of discuss it a little bit. You know what I mean? The founders of this organization, you know what I mean? He's a prisoner at war. He's been locked up for over 50 years. You see what I'm saying? So with that being said, he's not free because of the lifestyle that others live. You know what I mean? So it's our duty, it's our job to let him know that that's not what he represents, and that's not what we represent. I'm a pastor. I'm a federal chaplain. I'm a civilians against violence.
You're a federal chaplain.
Yeah.
Wow. Do you go and administer to them dudes on death row?
All over, wherever he lead me. You know what I mean? I got access. I'm not just a normal chaplain. I can go anywhere and everywhere.
Wow.
So,
Does that keep your mission filled up full of coal to keep going?
it keep me humble.
Keeps you humble.
Yeah. The more power you get, the more humble you get.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, things been misrepresented for a long time. Young men don't know how to be men. You know what I mean? What's truly gangster is taking care of your family,
Huh?
staying home, staying away from jail,
Huh?
quit putting drugs in your body. You
Huh?
know what I mean? So you live to be successful. So my teach is we gonna follow these principles. We gonna follow them all our days until we leave to the world below.
Hold on. Demetrius, how are we so confident in to come with it like this and tell it like this? Like, why is it like this that we able to do this like now?
Because, like he said, it's a lifestyle. You live in a 360 world. Everything comes back around. So why not put in the energy in the atmosphere positively so it can come back to you? Like I said before, he doesn't have to practice it. He lives it. So giving out socks or coming out his pocket to go buy food so that we can be in our houses, cooking it so that we can go out and give the people food and feed them, or do the baby shower, or when we were out giving out the socks and the blankets, and a man came over to me, and I just so happened to have a coat in my car, and he said, "Y'all got any coats?" And I gave it to him. You know how good that made me feel when he came over to me and said, "Can you pray for me?" And since I'm in the faith, I know how to pray. So I won't just be saying jibber jabber's words. And as we gave him the socks, I gave him the coat, and some other brothers gave him a blanket. And as I prayed for him, I said, "You're covered now. Whatever you went through, you covered. He covered you. You see, from your head to your toe, you covered." And it just brought tears to my eyes, because he said while he was in jail, his mama died. And I said, "What she teach you?" And he started to begin to tell me how she taught him morals. I said, "Well, take that." Nobody knew about Martin Luther King, but yet we can discuss everything about him. So your mother is not gone. She lives in you, and with the things that she instilled with you, that was the puzzle piece she left you. So you're covered. Now live the legacy that she wanted for you.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Coach Dre, I know you gotta go, man. Like, I want you to give a word to the young man, young woman out there. They might still be with the platform on the negative side. They hear you about coming into the faith. they hear Demetrius about, you know, being inspired to greatness, but give them something where they can get a spark right now tonight.
Well, you only got two places you're gonna go to: jail or dead. You know, you gotta choose today which one you gonna who you gonna serve. So, if I speak to the young guys, I tell them, you know, what's truly gangster is succeeding and being successful. You know what I mean? You know, ain't nothing out there. You know, you pull that tool, you know, you going to jail. You know what I'm saying? You whatever you do, and then now it's so, you know, what bothered me and what my heart go out to the young people, because what they fascinated with is what's trying to get them to take them forever, like putting switches on guns and, you know, doing all these different things. You know, they don't know. Then they messing with the feds. They you know, their lives is about to be jacked up. You know, so everybody is not blessed and fortunate to be like me and Goldie sitting here now. You know what I mean? To tell a story. You know what I mean? Like I said, I ain't been incarcerated. You know, I did juvenile time, but I ain't never did adult time. That ain't everybody's testimony. You know what I mean? I know more that's probably dead now than basically living. The more you live, you start seeing it. You know what I mean? So, you know, the young guys gotta, you know, they gotta, you know. But I fought the OGs though, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what I mean? You know, their examples is not solid. You know what I mean? Because
You say you fought the
I fought the OGs, it's the ones that call themselves that now. You know, because if you're not leading these brothers in the righteous direction, you know, you not no OG to me.
You're not an OG.
You ain't no OG to me.
There ain't no, yeah, you old, but you're not a G with it.
I don't know what they are, but they ain't no G.
You know, you got to be, to lead, man, you have to be in a position where you showing somebody better. You know, if you know, the young guys now, but what I do like about some of the young guys, you know, they'll tell an OG in a minute, you know, I ain't doing that. You know what I mean? So, you know, they make them be what you try to do what these young dudes can do.
What can you say about a guy like Demetrius, who seen you in your growth and maturation, came to hear you and got inspired himself, and you all been walking in this path? What can you say to something like that?
I'm proud of him. You know what I mean? That's my brother. You know, Demetrius is a faithful person. You know what I mean? You know, he served on all capacities of what I got in my life. What I got going on in my life, he served as my right hand all the time.
Okay.
So, you know,
Yeah.
I'm proud of him.
Yeah.
You know, then it's inspiration. Like I said, I knew him before my change. So I seen him when we was both in the streets. You know what I mean? So when I got saved, like he said, he only 9 years of sobriety. I'm 20. You know what I mean? So, you know, I pray for these guys. I pray for the brothers who don't even know it. I pray for them to let them be able to see what I see, to walk the walk that I walk. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm better than nobody. I believe, to be a leader and to be called out, man, what that do is, you know, you go through the experiences that you don't want to see the others go through.
Yeah.
Because everybody can't make it. Everybody grace ain't the same. You know what I mean? Like he said he been shot. I ain't never been shot. You know what I mean? You know, he been stabbed. I ain't never been stabbed. He been in penitentiary. I ain't never been in penitentiary. You know what I mean? So each walk, you know, play his part. So what I might can't tell the young brother, he can tell him. What he can't tell him, we got brothers who can tell him. You know what I mean? So, you know, I think we work as one to another.
Huh?
That's
If somebody wanted to support your platforms and get involved in any kind of way, how can they reach out to you?
Well, they can go to the website, civiliansagainstviolence.org. You know, that's the website. They can go to my Facebook, Coach Andre Dodson. It's a Coach Murray. My Instagram, Coach Dre. You know what I mean? You know, and then they know where to find me. I'm out here.
Yeah.
I'm out here. Yeah, I'm out here.
Now, Meech, if somebody want to get involved with Civilians Against Violence and get on with you all, how can they do that? Same thing? Or?
Same thing. And as far as the young people, go to him. Put down the guns. Pick up the gloves.
Yeah.
Huh?
Pick them up.
Yeah. Huh? What'd you say? What'd you say? Okay, Miles picked up them gloves, you know what I'm saying? He picked up the karate, kung fu.
Hey, one thing I know, it's a lot of tough guys that they don't last in the gym.
You know, Tim
Hey, nah, they walking-
Stafford of Revolutionary Fighting
I
Fitness
know,
came
yeah,
on
yeah.
and said the same thing.
Hey, they guys, they come in the gym. I have to save them. They come in the gym. I want to spar. I be like, what you mean you want to spar? You just started. I want to spar. They put them gloves on, and you put them in there with somebody you know what they doing. They don't last, and they be straight street killers. You hear me? You get your tail toe up in there because you got to use your mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Boxing is not, I teach boxing as a way of life. You're going to go through storms. You're going to go through rain. You're going to go through things. Life going to hit you all types of directions. You just can't quit.
Did we live vicariously through our 13-time national champ, son?
Did I live vicariously?
Yeah, do we live? Do we live right now?
Well, I'm humble, man. I stay humble. You know what I mean? And the reason why, because of, the power that's within. You know what I mean? I'm a Holy Ghost filled man, so, I got to stay humble. Because of, we got two inclinations. It's good and evil. Whichever one I feed is what's going to come out.
How real is that? Well, I want to thank you all for coming on, Coach Andre Dodson and
Appreciate it.
Demetrius
Thank you.
Belcher. You guys have been a real inspiration to myself, and I'm pretty sure to the viewership. And, congratulations, man, and keep making an impact in the community.
Absolutely.
Player T, that's me, Hollywood in the hood.